Week 9 of the fantasy football season. Here's top 12 defense DST units. I'm ranking this week number 1 the New Orleans Saints, of the Saints back home. In this one, what a good matchup versus the Bears with Tyson Beckett starting at quarterback. We know Khalil Herbert's out as well in this game, even though Devonta Foreman, he's been filling in pretty well. But this Chicago Bear offensive line, one of the worst lines in the league. And last week we saw the Chargers take advantage of that. So right now, this Saint defense, we know for the most part, it's a solid unit. I think they could get to the quarterback with Cam Jordan early and often. You got Marshawn Lattimore. And this week here versus a bad team that's banged up and not moving the football well, I got them in one. Number 2, the Cleveland Browns. So this Brown defense led by Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, and Denzel Ward have a great matchup here versus the Arizona Cardinals coming to town. I know the Browns the last few weeks, they've definitely been giving up points, but they also been getting to the quarterback and turning the football over. So this week here, Arizona, we don't know if it's going to be Clayton Tune or Kyler Murray 100% starting this game. But if it's Clayton Tune, I think he's going to be in for a long day versus Brown defense. Getting to him early and often is Myles Garrett, I believe. And like I said, Joshua Dobbs got traded away as well to Minnesota. So if it's Tune in this game, I think this Brown team is going to tee off and have a big game. Number 3, the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers definitely could be high on this list, but this New York Jet team offensive line's depleted. Zach Wilson's one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the league, where they're not moving the football and they're just grinding out games, winning on field goals pretty much and by field goals. So this week here, Monday Night Football, big game. Chargers 3-4 coming in, Jets 4-3 on the year. And when you got Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, 2 elite pass rushers, and Derwin James and Asante Samuel Jr. in the secondary, I think these guys can make some plays, and we saw them feast versus the Chicago Bears in Week 8. And pretty much this Jet offense is similar to the Bears with a little bit more talented playmakers. I know Breece Hall, obviously great running back, and Garrett Wilson better than DJ Moore, but not by much. I think this Charger team comes in, they can make plays in this ball game, and this Jet team, they're due to turn over the football a decent amount, and it definitely could be this week. Number 4, Baltimore Ravens. So this Raven defense unit has been special this season for the most part, getting to the quarterback, keeping teams in the mid-teens, low 20s for the most part. And this could be a team destined for the Super Bowl. So the Ravens, they make plays when they need to this season, especially getting sacks on the quarterback, like I mentioned, where they've been a unit from week 1 to now, that every week they've been a usable team in top 10 in fantasy points weekly. So this week here, I know it's a tougher matchup with the Seahawks coming to town, but we also thought that a few weeks ago with the Lions, and they pretty much shut them out in that game until garbage time. So this week here, Geno Smith, he's been an up-and-down quarterback so far this season. I think the Ravens can make plays on him. I know they got talented receivers in Metcalf, Tyler, get the rookie Smith Nababa, but I think this Raven defense, once again, especially at home, has a good game. Number 5, the Pittsburgh Steelers, of the Tennessee Titans coming to town Thursday Night Football. I know those ball games usually are high-scoring and shootouts for the most part, but Will Levis, a rookie quarterback, even though he looked very well in that Week 8 victory, thrown 4 touchdowns versus the Atlanta Falcons. But I think this Steelers defense and TJ Watt could cause some havoc in this one. I know Minkah Fitzpatrick is out in this game, but Tennessee, for the most part, one of the worst offensive lines in the league. So if the pass rush can get to the rookie Levis, I think they could be in for a good game. Once again, number 6, the Philadelphia Eagles. I know it's a tough matchup versus the Cowboys. That all of a sudden, the last couple weeks, their offense is starting to click, and Dak Prescott has looked better over the last few weeks. But this Eagle front line is vicious. We know their secondary is solid secondary as well. Even though the Washington Commanders, you got to give them credit. The 2 games they versed the Commanders this season, they've scored 30 plus in each ball game. But this week here, Sunday afternoon game, division rivals, I think both teams' defenses are going to step up a little bit in this one. And Dak Prescott, he's taken a lot of sacks this season. So I think the Eagles could get pressure on him, cause him to make a few turnovers, even though he's played well the last few weeks. And I got him at 6. Number 7, the Washington Commanders. I know the Commanders traded away Marquez Sweat and Chase Young, but this week here, it's still a good matchup at the Patriots. Have one of the worst offensive lines in the league. They got no receivers pretty much, especially with Kendrick Bourne, who was their number 1 this season in terms of putting up yards and receptions and fantasy points. So right here, it could be a long day for Mac Jones and this New England Patriot team. And even after trading Chase Young, obviously, and Marquez Sweat, I think the Commanders still could get pressure on this Patriot offensive line and Mac Jones and make some plays. And I got him at 7. Number 8, the New York Jets. So the Jets here, They played well, obviously, this season versus the Eagles, Jalen Hurts. They played well versus Mahomes and the Chiefs. And this week here, a high-powered offense coming to town. And with the cross-country trip, I could see this Charger the offense go one of two ways: either have a great game or fall in their face and not do much. This Jet defense playing well, obviously, like I mentioned. Sauce Gardner, the Williams boys up front, C.J. Mosley in the middle of the field. But Justin Herbert's been playing good football, and when you got guys like Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen, it's going to be a little bit tougher because last week this Jet team had an easy matchup versus the New York Giants with third-string quarterback DeVito, who's thrown behind the line of scrimmage, and they could just tee off all day on him and stop the run. So right now, this week a tougher matchup, big ball game, Monday Night Football, and the Jets, the only thing with them, they don't create a lot of turnovers, but they do get sacks and hold teams down to low score total. So this week they're at 8. Number 9, the Vegas Raiders. I know this Raider defense really isn't that good at all, but this week a good matchup versus the New York Giants coming to town. So with the cross-country trip for the Giants, it could be a problem. Obviously, we usually see that slow starts and just bad play. A banged-up offensive line. Daniel Jones not 100% as well coming off the neck. And we don't even know if Darren Waller is going to be 100% and playing this game. Was it all those factors? I think the Raiders as a streaming option could surprise in this one, and I got them in 9. Number 10, the Dallas Cowboys. So the Cowboys defense last week, they shut down for the most part a high-powered Ram offense. Obviously with a Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, 2 explosive and dynamic wide receivers. The Cowboys secondary held up and made some plays, and we saw DeRon Bland with a pick 6 in that game, a safety as well. So this Cowboy team, they create a lot of turnovers. They get pressure on the quarterback with Micah Parsons, who possibly could win Defensive Player of the Year. But this week here, it's a very tough matchup at the Eagles. And the last tough matchup we saw for the Cowboys, they got the doors blown off in Week 5 at the San Francisco 49ers, losing 42-10. So this week here, I don't see the Cowboys getting blown out, but I don't see this defense putting in a huge performance. But with their potential, I got them at 10. Number 11, the Indianapolis Colts. So the Colts here, great matchup versus the Carolina Panthers that have one of the worst offensive lines in the league and a team that don't put up a lot of points as well. I know this Colt defense really isn't that good, but another team like the Raiders that are a streaming option. I know they're traveling in Carolina. I know the Panthers are hyped coming off a nice victory, first win of the season versus a solid Houston Texan team. But I think the Colts could go in there, make some plays, and we've seen Bryce Young be uncomfortable pretty much all season, and the run game as well has been non-existent for the most part for Carolina. So this week here, I got the Colts at 11, and the 12th and final defense, DST, I'm ranking is the New England Patriots. I know this Patriot defense is banged up, but this Commander offensive line isn't all that great. And I know Sam Howell's played good football this season, but he's also turned over the football a lot as well with 9 turnovers on the season. So I think the Patriots and Belichick target in this game is turning the football over with Sam Howell making mistakes. And honestly, that might be their only chance of winning this game, especially with Kendrick Bourne out for the season, who was their number 1 weapon in the receiving game. So right now we know the Patriots play better at home, their defense on the road. And with Sam Howell, who's been a turnover guy, but also a guy who moves the football well, I think they could be a decent option. And then the 12th ranked defense of the week, so that's a top 12 defense DST units I'm ranking here for week 9 of the fantasy football season.